in Goa. And what he is most proud for are the magazines that he publishes very enthusiastically. He has published Goa's only business magazine, Business Goa, for 5.5 years now. He's also a very avid quizzer. He's won a lot of awards and prizes for various quiz competitions. The Tata Crucible Business Quiz, considered to be one of India's toughest business quiz. And he's also a proud member of SEQC, Sunday Evening Quiz Club, which in abbreviation sounds like sexy. SEQC. He also writes for the local media, and he serves on the managing committee of the Goa Chamber of Commerce and Industry, and is currently the chairman of the Programs Coordination Committee at the Chamber. He is also a life member of Goa Heritage Action Group, and he is the honorary secretary of Goa Management Association. His entrepreneurial efforts keep continuing. He was a finalist in the British Council's Creative Entrepreneur of the Year Award in 2011 in the field of publishing. And the book on which we are going to be talking about, Vishwas Mudagal's book. Vishwas is a Bangalore-based best-selling author and a successful serial entrepreneur and CEO. Storytelling is his passion, and he has taken it up as a parallel career. So we have a lawyer who is a magazine publisher, and we have Vishwas, who is very passionate about storytelling besides entrepreneurship. He has become a best-selling sensation and a youth icon in Goa, in India, after the spectacular success of his debut novel, Losing My Religion, and hopefully soon in Goa too. He is also the CEO and co-founder of Good Work Labs, one of the fastest growing technology firms in the industry. So, a focus on losing my religion, Harshvardhan, and thank you, Joseph. And Vishwas, welcome to Goa.
Thank you so much.
Tell us something about your book. How did it come about? How did you start ideating about the book? Because as I have understood, you are an entrepreneur, an engineer, and how did this shift to literature or literary pursuits happen? How did you jump into that?
First of all, thank you so much for having me here. It's awesome to be in Goa, as always. It's one of my favorite places. Okay, so coming back to the question of how I became an author, it was really, I think, a destiny, because I never, planned for the book. Neither I was. I always knew that someday I'm going to write the book, because when I was in school and colleges, I used to write essays, a bit of poems, but I've never really written a book. Yeah. So it all started in a very interesting circumstance, the way the book started. Just to tell you in brief, in 2007, I started a company. It was an internet-based company, and I started along with a few friends of mine. It went really well. It was called jobbyhire.com. Okay? It was a very, very simple thing that people can come on the website and they can read employee reviews. Okay? So we got a lot of success in the whole thing. Within a matter of 6 months, we had like 1 lakh users, 100,000 plus users. During 2007, you can imagine getting so many users was not easy thing, and we were getting millions of hits, and people are writing good things about us, and things are really happening. But in 2009, we went bankrupt. Yeah, I mean, in like 2 years, we were getting so much of traction, a lot of people are using it. We were trying to solve a problem in the market, but I think we couldn't monetize the whole service.
This model didn't work.
Yeah, the business model did not work, but it was useful. So even now the website is on and a lot of people use it. So I'm sitting in 2009 thinking, what do I do next? You know how it is, like, 2 years of my life I put on it and I'm getting nowhere. I'm just thinking, man, what did I do right now? You know? And the team started losing morale, and we just decided to shut it down. That's what, wind down, right? So in 2009, I'm sitting there thinking what to do next, and a very important event happens in my life. I decided to get married.
This is 2007.
2009. Okay, so I'm bankrupt, and I decided to get married, and we borrowed more money, got married. So after the wedding, I'm sitting at home with a lot of debt on practically a little bit more debt, with no money in my bank account. I'm trying to think what to do next. So out of the blue, one of those days, I get a call from one of my ex-colleagues. Okay, he calls me and he tells me that he's going on a journey. I was like, okay, that's great. And he said, I just asked him, where are they going? And he said, I don't know, where am I going? I'm just taking a bike and I'm going on a journey across India. And he said he's quit his job and there's no plans whatsoever. I was like amazed at this. I was like, man, this guy is a dude. I'm like sitting here and I'm thinking, what am I doing in my life? And this guy is just quitting everything and is going and is just having fun, right? I so much wanted to do that myself, quit everything and just go, but then how do I go and tell my wife? It's just been like a month, got married, right? So I was thinking, what do I do next? And then it was a very interesting period of my life. A lot of things happened. The next week I get another call. This time it was from Canada. And it was from this company called Castle Rock. It was a multinational company, and they told me that they want to hire me as their CEO. I thought it was a prank call. Somebody's trying to joke with me. Somebody's calling me to pull a prank here. Then I asked them, why don't you just Google for me? You will know that I just shut down my company. And you know how it is, press usually writes when either you raise funds or you're successful, or when you shut down your company. That's when the
very extreme different.
Yeah. So that's how it is, and people were writing about me and stuff. But then that company told me that the experience that I've gained, doing my startup and the technologies that I use and all that, they wanted me to set up a center for that technology, and they told me get me like 80 to 100 people. That could save me like $10 million every year. That's a huge thing, and they decided that I should be the right guy to lead the company. So I took up the job because it was good paying, and one day I'm bankrupt, and the next day I'm the CEO of a multinational company, and I was just 27 years. So I realized that day that there is no concept of failure in life, especially in one's career, because a day before I thought I was a failure, and the next day I'm really, really successful. So I realized that in career, if you don't take risks, if you don't take chances, it's not going to work out. That's the whole point, right? So what happened was I took up the job for the multinational, and I went out, right? But then I couldn't go on that journey that I was supposed to go across India.
Motorcycle journey.
Sorry?
The motorcycle journey.
Motorcycle, yeah.
The bike journey.
Yeah, the bike journey. So I couldn't go on that. So, but this bizarre idea struck me that I need to write about somebody who's in my situation, who's gone bankrupt, but that person goes on that journey, right? So I started writing about this person, Rishi Rai, protagonist, who tries to revolutionize the gaming industry, but he goes bankrupt. But he accidentally meets an American hippie called Alex, who's exactly opposite of him. We entrepreneurs try to control the future. We try to move everybody towards a vision that we believe in. But a hippie, on the other hand, he doesn't care where is he going tomorrow, what is he going to eat. Nothing really matters for him, right? So I like the contrast of these two characters, and then Rishi Rai quits everything, sells his last remaining thing, that is the car, takes a little bit of money and then goes on a journey. And Losing My Religion is all about what happens next, how they bounce back in life and events that follow. So that's how the book happened actually. So I never really thought that I should write about it, but then the idea gave me sleepless nights. Any idea that gives me sleepless nights, that means I need to act. That's my philosophy. That's how it is. So it's like a calling for me. So I started writing it basically. Yeah.
And what's with the title? I mean, how did you get that? Like, Losing My Religion is the Aryan track. What did you think of this track?
Yeah, so Losing My Religion is not about the real or what religion, what we have been known to think, So Losing My Religion is about losing faith in oneself, losing belief in the beliefs that you have, the ideals you have. So in the book, the protagonist, he basically loses track on why is he doing something. He goes bankrupt and he doesn't know why is he doing it anymore, and he questions his ideals. So I feel that Losing My Religion is a moment in everybody's life that it comes.
It's about self-doubt.
Yes, when it comes where you are pushed to a brink of a disaster, when you're hit against failure of proportions that you didn't imagine before. During that moment, there is a moment that comes in your mind where you snap in your mind and you're like, man, this is not happening. Those moments are very, very critical in everybody's life. That is when you're reborn and you question yourself and you come back, right? So that moment is what I call as Losing My Religion moment. And I know I could have named it some romantic title or something like that, which could have gotten me much easier to market the book, because how it is in India and stuff like that, romantic novels, my love story, blah blah,
Half girlfriend.
So these things, like, it's easy to sell the book, but I want it to be known for entertainment, but with meaning, and that was the whole motive. So I wanted the title to be heavy, So
And to make you think, It's already is there, right now.
Absolutely, and I love the track Losing My Religion. I'm not sure how many of you have heard it, but you should listen to the track. It's one of the classics. Yeah.
Now the thing is that I was told that this is a book on entrepreneurship. It's about business. But I have read on the net that this is a book which is doing very well on the romantic charts. So what kind of genre do you think that the book is?
Okay, so Losing My Religion cuts across so many genres. Basically it is it's inspirational without being inspirational. It is romantic.
Achievements.
Yes, absolutely no. It's like you basically go and teach somebody morals and all that. Nobody's going to listen to you. But you wrap it around in a very beautiful story. At the end of it, the message is conveyed, but you don't even realize you've given it. And what is the message of the book? The book basically tells that follow your passion, don't be bothered about success, and don't be bogged down by failures. Eventually, everything will be fine as long as you do what you love to do. That is the whole funda of the book. People not even realize it, but at the end of it, they'll get it, what's going on here, because they've gone through the experience. But yeah, it cuts across romance. It's a thriller. It's so much about youth. It talks about gaming, about travel, written about a lot of interesting places in India and abroad. So it talks about hippies. I've done years and years of research for the book. I took 5 years to finish the book, So it's a lot of research that I've gone into it. It's definitely a big romance. A lot of it is romance in it.
So is it a romance book or a business book? You haven't answered my question.
Yeah, so it's both. It's both because it teaches business to people who don't know business. and it teaches in such a way that you don't even realize. Somebody just told me that it's the most fun. It's a book where it made me realize that business could be fun. You know, that's what it is.
How did you handle the fact that your wife did not like the first chapter and the first manuscript that you showed her? This is something very personal. But then you have spoken about it in some of your previous interview.
Yeah.
How did you break that particular, hurdle?
Yeah.
How did you get past that?
Okay. So my wife is my biggest strength, and she's my harshest critic. Right? So if something has to go, if I have to earn some praise from her, that means it has to be really, really good. That's how it is. And she's an entrepreneur. She's a woman who is I think it's a lot of substance. That's what she is, and really admire her. So when I first started writing my book, Losing My Religion, and she saw that I was trying to write something, she asked me, she thought it's a joke basically, because I had never written a simple story in my life. This is my first book, it's first story, right? So she was like amazed, what this is. And then when she found out that I'm writing something, she wanted to read it. And then when I read it, she was so eager to do it and to read it, and when she read it, she looked at me and then she told me that this thing really sucks. She told me that this is really not happening, right? Can you hear me? Yeah. So it was the characterization. I think so many things. I was just a beginner at that time, and I'm sure when I now go back and read those chapters, oh man, those were hilarious chapters. I think she had probably cut me some slack by saying that it sucks. It was really, really worse than that. So, but the thing was, when she told me those words, that probably this is not your cup of tea, probably that you shouldn't write. What it made me is, it made me really, really upset, extremely upset. So much so that I stopped writing. I was so hurt. I told myself, I'm not going to write anymore, that's it. So 1 week goes by, 2 weeks go by, 3, 4, and then, but this feeling is not going from my mind that I need to write this book, I need to give it a shot. Something in my mind all the time. So I introspect a lot as a person. Then I started introspecting, and why am I getting hurt? Why am I getting hurt? So then I realized that you only get hurt, when you love something. Yeah. So for example, just the other day, my sister-in-law is getting married. So in that wedding, I danced for the first time. After the wedding, people came and told me, you should never dance again. What was my reaction? I laughed. I laughed so much. Okay. On one hand, somebody is telling me not to dance. I am laughing. On the other hand, somebody is telling me don't write a book, and I am getting so hurt. What does it mean? That means I am crazy about writing, and without realizing it, I didn't know that writing is my passion, but I wrote. When I started writing it, and I realized that I love it so much, I'm in love with it so much, that it doesn't matter if somebody likes my book or not. I need to write this book just for myself. I told myself that day that me as an author is going to entertain me as a reader. I don't care about anybody, nobody. Then I decided not to tell my wife and I started writing it again. So this time I wrote 3 chapters. I took a couple of months, and then one of those days again she caught me writing the book, and she's like, what's going on? I thought we decided that you're not going to spend more time on that thing, And then because she has seen it, I had to ask her to like read it again because I wanted some feedback. So she reluctantly read it, and I could see her I had written a laptop. I had also changed a few things, okay? In the second time when I was writing, which made a difference. I started writing in using pen and paper. That made a lot of difference because I don't know, call me old-fashioned, whatever. I'm like a hardcore technology guy. You know, that's what I do for a living. I build technology, but something about laptop. You know, I think when I'm writing the first draft, I'm writing with such speed that my brain and my hand, the way they coordinate or whatever, like I'm not able to put my thoughts, quickly into in a document. But what I can do is take a pen and scribble. You know what that's what I do. And I scribble the first draft. That's what I do. So anyway, so after my wife read that those 3 chapters, she looked at me and she was like amazed, and she was like, "Are you sure you wrote this book?" You know. And that day she made a statement. She told me that if you don't write this book, it's going to be an injustice to the world. You got to write it. So and I took it a little more seriously after that. And then I started writing, and I took 5 years. From that time to the time it got published this year in March.
So this was in 2009, you said?
2009, yeah.
2014 we got published.
Yeah, 5 years, it took 5 years. It was madness, I was crazy about it.
And how did you find a publisher, or did the publisher find you? What was the whole thing about getting published?
Yeah, that was another thing. So, after I think 2 years, I started editing it, and by 3 years I had finished everything basically.
The whole manuscript was ready.
Yeah, pretty much ready, and then I started sending it out to my friends. Had loved the book, and then when I started sending it to all the publishers, I sent it to all the top guys basically, and then all of them rejected the book. All of them. Everybody rejected the book. So pretty much who was there, the top guys. And I was thinking, I thought that my book will never get published. So, but then I had like a chance encounter with an agent, Kanishka Gupta. I don't think so. He's here. He's in Delhi. So he loved the book. He thought that it's very fresh, it's very new, and he believed in it, and he sent it to Fingerprint. It was a new publication house, backed by a good distributor. But they loved the book, and they wanted to put their weight behind it, and that's how it got published.
Coming back to the book, which is the part of the book which holds most dear to you as a writer, as a first time debutant writer? Which part of the book is very, very central to you?
It's really hard to say any particular part of the book is something very close to me, because the way the book is structured, it's structured in like four parts. The way it is structured. The first part is about how Rishi Rai basically he goes bankrupt, he meets Alex, and they go on the journey, and it explores the this valley in Himalayas called Malana Valley. I'm not sure how many people have heard about it, but it's about they say that this valley, which is next to Manali, it's been inhabited by the descendants of Alexander, and which is not proven, but they're totally cut off from the world. They have their own language, their own democracy, they don't follow Indian rules, things like that. So I wrote about it. It's also a weed haven. A lot of they call it Malana tree. It's called it's marijuana. That happens there. So I wrote about that. And the next part about how he tries to come back, I wrote about in Goa and in Home Beach, in Gokarna. And the next part is in Kumbh. That's when a lot of business are written about every part of a little bit of business. And these two guys, they go to Kumbh Mela, and then what do they do there? What do they sell to become something there? Basically, people think about Kumbh Mela only only from a religious angle. They write about Kumbh Mela only from that perspective. But I have explored the business aspect as well, because business world, actually billions of dollars happens there. So I thought, I threw myself a challenge. If I were to go there and crack that market and create a successful business, what would I do? So I did that same with those guys. So it was really fun. And that's why it is a lot of MBA guys has been getting recommended in many schools now to read the book. And the last part is in New York. It's a reality show, apprenticeship. So that's how it ends. So, each of these have their own challenges. But what keeps everything together is one guy, is Rishi, how his life changes through the book.
And how much of Vishwas Mudagal is there in Rishi? I mean, how much of you is there in the protagonist?
Okay, so the question is how much of me is in the protagonist. So you know how it is, right? Every debut author has to draw inspiration from his own life. That's how it is, invariably your first book becomes autobiographical at some level. So I'm not going to deny the fact that a lot of what I am is what Rishi Rai is to a good aspect, but he is much more than what I am in my life. I would only hope that I could become like him. So perhaps losing my religion is my way of of going on that journey and living my fantasy and that whole thing, and still be a meaningful life.
And what's your next book now? What are you working on?
Yeah, so
The same genre, or you get to explore other genres?
to be honest with you, first of all, I did not expect the book to become a bestseller, and the kind of crazy amount of response I've got. I've got a huge following right now. And everybody wants to see the book, number one, as a movie, and number two, they want to have a sequel for it. So for surely, I think I'm going to come up with a sequel later on. But right now, I'm working on a book in a different genre. But it's about a person in the future. It's about a man in the future, in the near future. So I can only talk that much about it right now. But hopefully, in the next year or so, it's going to be out.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Pleasure to have you here.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Vishwas and Harshvardhan. Losing My Religion is the name. It's a name of a song. Can anyone, by a British band, does anyone know the name? Yes. Would you like a question?
Hello, Vishwas. I thought that what I came to, what I understand that this is your dream. What you are not in your life is there in your novel. That's what I understand. In a way. Then another thing is that you said you catch up. You have gone for another job for CEO. Oh, then how did you? But your this hero of the book, he is going on a journey. So how did you were traveling at the same time and you were doing your job same time. How did you manage these two things? Because writers are always wondering with his or her own part or his writing. So in writing you were wondering, you were moving around, and in reality you were doing your business job. So it is a very strange thing. How did you manage it?
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely difficult because at one, I was really living my dream, to be honest with you, because I wanted to go on a journey I couldn't go, and I was going through that journey with this person, this protagonist. But what was happening is it took me so long. I think because of that I took a little long time. It took me like 3 years to even finish everything to a certain extent. And I changed as a person myself during that 3 years. And you know, I was facing a lot of difficulty in my business and so many things, you know. So all the experience went into it. So if you really look at it, I traveled to so many places from the time I started writing the book until the time I finished it. I traveled a lot. So traveling gave me a lot of inspiration, and also as a person, I was exposed to too much of business, too much of customers, too much of problems I was trying to solve for in the market. All that was a boon. Although I was thinking that I was taking way too long to finish it, but in reality, what happened was me as a person who was growing added to the book. So, and I'm crazy about perfection. If you read my book, then you will know that I've really worked a lot on every aspect of it, because I'm very, very passionate about the book. That's what has come. But it was really difficult. I know how it is. When I'm starting to write a story, it's like I'm living in a parallel universe. That happens, right? And anytime I was working somewhere and all that, so for example, I left somebody in the room there writing, it's always in my mind that, I need to go back and, this person is waiting for me there, that kind of thing. So I think, it's fun to be an author, but it's also a little bit crazy because you have to live in 2 dimensions,
2 worlds. Thanks, Vishwas. Thanks, Harshvardhan.